We are live. This is a key component for this session. I've been saying this as we kind of enter each session. I think it's super important to mention because we are live. And this session, you guys as attendees have already given me a great into the conversation that we're going to have in this session because we did a poll a few sessions ago. Are you team live or team pre-recorded? And 100% of the people who voted said team live. Now, I think this is incredibly interesting because all throughout the industry, I'm hearing about pre-recorded and simu-live, and I think that there is a big interest in that. But as you guys can tell with Texie Talk, I am a huge proponent of live, and I found a kindred spirit in Joanna Pineda, who is the CEO of BeSpeak Events. We are going to talk today about the case for live and why live is so important, as you were saying just before we went on air, not just with the content, but with everything that we do. But if you wouldn't mind, can you just give us a quick introduction about you and your company,
Sure.
and then we can dive into this debate.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm Joanna Pineda, CEO and Chief Troublemaker at a company called Matrix Group International, and BeSpeak is our virtual meeting platform. And I am definitely Team Live.
Okay, so why live? That's the first question that I have for you.
I think the thing about live is you're giving people a reason to attend a meeting at a specific time and place, and you're giving them a reason to actually interact, and you create energy because you have a group of people, and whether they're interacting live in the chat or maybe live through another format because everyone is on video. I think what you're doing is you're creating the experience that in some small way kind of is much closer to the experience that we have in person. And I also think we're craving kind of the authenticity of live. We're craving, in some ways, the imperfection of live.
Yeah.
And I think as meeting planners, the challenge is how do we create an experience that doesn't feel like a bunch of pre-recorded webinars strung together?
Yeah, I think the culture of webinars over the past 5 years or more has really killed what a lot of event professionals are trying to do with the pre-recorded content, because it's like, everyone's used to just, I can sign up for the event. I don't even have to put it on my calendar. I'll just, get the recordings later. And they're missing out on all that could happen. And then they're saying, well, we miss in-person events because in-person events were so much better because of the serendipitous connections. And well, we could be providing that as we are doing here with Texie Talk Global in a virtual environment too. It doesn't all have to be pre-recorded. I know one of the challenges that a lot of event professionals talk about is they're afraid that tech is going to mess things up. They're afraid something's going to go wrong. What are your comments to that?
So first I'll say things are going to go wrong and things can get messed up. And I think that you have to embrace it and just know that something's going to happen. But honestly, we hold out what can go wrong meeting. And like I say, look, we got to be belt suspenders and duct tape. Like we got to have plan A, plan B, and plan C. So for example, if we were doing a live session, I would have a backup broadcast engineer in case, that person's internet went south. I would make sure that the person who's managing the broadcast has backup internet, either through like a hotspot or something. The other thing that I would do is I would have backup people actually in the green room. And we did this actually for one session where the moderator's internet went out and we just slid the next person in and she just came on and she said, oh, it looks like Liz's internet just went out, and then just went right into it. Right? No, nothing, no drama, no nothing. You just kept right on going. So I think if you've got, if you kind of have a backup for the things that might happen, and then those plans get executed, then yeah, you're live. Something just happened, but like you just kept right on rolling.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we do as event professionals all the time. You kind of plan your designed experience and then all the backup. I've seen so many. One of our best read articles on TexieTalk.com was what an event planner should have in their emergency kit.
I
And
remember
it's
that one. It was a
the
good
exact
one.
same thing with virtual. It's just, as you said, it's different things that you need. But I think one of the reasons people like the live is of course for the serendipitous connections and the interaction with the speakers. Like right now, our attendees can be chatting and asking questions. What are some of the cool things that you've done or you've seen people do to kind of increase the live experience and make it something that's really worth coming to?
So I think part of it is you figure out how to create different types of live experiences. And we're actually finding that the more you can create variety in the program, the more engaging it is. So if every session in the program is watching a live stream and interacting in the chat, that's compelling, but a little monotonous if it's over
Mhm.
3 days. So if you can do things like we do something called like almost we call them dynamic breakout rooms, where what you do is you essentially you have a topic or a session, or like we did a conference last week. And it was morning coffee. And when you clicked into the session, you got put into a room with 7 other random people. So you didn't know who you were going to be with, but you knew that you were like just going to have coffee. So there was a
Yeah.
live component, and you created and you had those serendipitous connections. So that's one type of a live event. Then there's live where everyone's on video. Then there's live just like this, where you and I are talking live. It's being broadcast and people can interact through the chat. And I think what happens is it creates variety and it creates different types of engagement, and it just makes for kind of a richer experience. So I think that that's important.
Now, I think, in addition to all of those live connections, one of the questions that we see is how do we get the attention so that people know that what we're doing is different? It's live, it's something you
Oh,
need to be a
yeah.
part of. It's not just something you can put on your calendar and ignore. Any tips there?
So, that's a really, really good point. So, and a lot of our clients are saying that. How can we convince potential attendees that this is different, right? That they shouldn't just register or not register and just maybe watch it down the road when we
Yeah.
make it available in our Vimeo channel or something. I think you really want to, through messaging, through screenshots, and maybe even through a preview, let them know that there are, one, different types of experiences, and two, that this is live. You got to be here at this time and place so that A, you can interact with the other attendees, and you can interact with the speakers and be part of the experience.
Yeah.
um, it's hard, right? Because after a season of attending these events, people say, oh, like I attended that one conference and it wasn't that interesting, wasn't that fun. So, what do you do? I had a thought, if you don't mind me kind of
Sure.
segueing into this. As meeting planners, historically, when you're planning a conference, you spend so much time focused on the content. And then the serendipitous connections, me meeting someone on the bus to the breakout,
Yeah.
or to the social event, me meeting someone who sat next to me, meeting someone at the exhibit hall because they happened to be having lunch there. Those aren't created or designed by the meeting planners, right? You just kind of create the venues and then you say, well, people are going to, come and go. But now, as meeting planners, we have to create those live events and kind of give the attendees like a chance for those interactions to really happen. And I think that's another aspect of live.
Yeah.
Because if you're not part of those events and then you say, well, I'll just attend the sessions or I'll just watch the sessions afterwards because they were recorded, what did you miss because you couldn't interact with Liz via chat or in a video room, or because you couldn't interact with Liz in a roundtable format where everybody's on video?
Yeah, that curation is so important. I think that's a really good point. So thanks for sharing that. What about I want you to talk about BeSpeak because I think what you guys are doing with BeSpeak is really interesting. People you do have an exhibit booth here at Texie Talk, so people should check you out for sure. But tell us a little bit about BeSpeak and what you guys are doing with live.
Yeah, so just really quickly about BeSpeak. So it's a play on speaking because that's what you do at a conference, but it's also a play on bespoke. And so our goal is to create a custom tailored event that's really different for every single one of our clients, that really matches the needs of their attendees. So everything from, the design of the meeting to really working with you to create something really unique with different types of events and different forms of engagement. That's what we do. So it starts way in advance with us really looking at your program and then saying, hey, how can we add something different here? This break isn't long enough. You know what? Why don't we do something with a coffee? Could we play a game during this break? And it's really, really, yeah, again, just really working with the client to create something bespoke, if you will. So please check us out, and let's talk about your events.
Yeah, I think just to your point, we have to design these experiences. And so there is definitely a value to getting something that's not, just outside the box and shoving everything into it and trying to make it fit, but really creating something and being thoughtful about the process. So I do hope that people will check you out and learn more about it. Thank you so much for sharing this. I know we are both on Team Live, and this is a super quick session. Um, Thank you for your time. We'll see you guys. We're actually going to go into a short little break. Maybe if you are going to grab some coffee or lunch or breakfast, wherever you are in the world, we will see you back in about 40 minutes or so for the next session. Thank you, Joanna, for your time.
Liz, thanks so much for the chance, and I'll talk to everyone soon. Bye.